How you guys doing? My name is Jerome Howard. I'm an author, sports performance coach, mentor, sports consultant, and founder of Dynamic Performance Development. If I could have one superpower, I would be invisible. Like, the people bother me so much. Like, if I could be invisible where people don't see me all the time, or I can just kind of be to myself, then yeah, like Rod Wave, he speak about it in one of his songs. He called it Popular Loner. Like, that's really me. I like people, but I really like being by myself too. So I would definitely, if I could do anything or have any superpower, I would love to be invisible. Fishing and swimming are definitely my two go-tos. I just love being outside. I love nature when I'm not actually like training people or learning about training or anything related to that. I definitely love fishing and swimming. So my guilty snack is Reese's Pieces peanut butter cups. Like, I can just taste it right now. It's so good. My role model, if any, I would have to say my grandmother, Doris. My grandmother Doris. She definitely is a phenomenal role model. And especially as I got older and I started understanding a lot of the guidance and wisdom she tried to give me when I was younger, and then as just going through life myself, like she was always somebody I can lean on, and I love her to death, man. She's a great person. I thank God for her every day. Growing up, I was a huge fan of Sean Spence. Sean Spence, undersized linebacker, went to Miami Northwestern. At one time, I could tell you every stat about him because I just studied him that much, but he went to Miami Northwestern, played linebacker at the University of Miami. Ironically, me and Spence are cool now, so it's pretty cool how life worked out. But like when I was like in high school trying to find my way, I always wanted to be like Sean Spence because I was small, I was undersized. He was small, he was undersized, but he just played at such a high level that like his size had nothing to do with how he went out and performed on the field. So he was always just an avid of hope and a light of hope for me that like, yeah, if I keep balling out, people will notice. They can, I still can make it pros. I still can play college football and all those things because him and I had a lot of similarities in size, like in high school. Yeah, so I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I played high school football at Plantation High School. I had 6 scholarships coming out of high school. I had Marshall, Bowling Green, Western Kentucky, Alabama A&M, Prairie View, and Marshall, Bowling Green, Alabama A&M, Prairie View, Western Kentucky, and Central Michigan. I ended up going. I was originally committed to Western Kentucky. On signing day, I switched and went to Prairie View. So I played football at Prairie View. I was a 4-year starter, 3-time All-Conference, 2-time All-American. And my last season, I was SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, and I currently hold a record for career tackles for loss and career tackles. Best athlete I ever played with. I think this is going to shock a lot of people because people know about Ryan Shazier, and obviously he's done phenomenal things in the NFL. But like, the best athlete I played with is not Ryan. That's going to surprise a lot of people. It's a guy named Josh Robinson. Josh played at Plantation High School with me. Josh then went and played at University of Central Florida, UCF. Josh played in the NFL for quite a bit. He just officially retired this year. But Josh was on varsity when I was on not my first year on varsity. Like I was a sophomore and Josh was like a senior. And I watched this dude run down on kickoff, make a tackle, catch an interception on defense, take it to the house, come back, come on offense, get it reversed, got it called back, came back and ran the same play 2 plays later. He scored there. Then our starting safety went down, and he had to go from linebacker to safety all in the same game. Like, I was just like, wow. Josh was like that, and then he's big too, so he's like big, strong, fast. He's almost like the created player that you make on Madden. The best athlete I ever played against, I would have to say a guy named DeMar Dorsey from Fort Lauderdale. His younger brother, Eddie Jackson, or Bo Jack as we like to call him, he plays for the Bears right now, but DeMar might have been just as good, if not better than him. DeMar was similar to Josh. They just freak athletes. Like, DeMar was super fast, he was tall, he was strong, and he played with like a certain like aura and just confidence that was like, I want to do that. Like, how does he get, like, you know what I mean? It was just, he had that infectious energy when he played that he just made everybody else around him better. So he's definitely the best person I played. Like, I enjoyed watching him like destroy us. You know what I mean? If I had to go with anybody, I would say the Steelers because I worked with most of their guys and I kind of done more of that organization. But I grew up a Dolphins fan. The Dolphins suck, so that kind of eliminated them. So with that being said, I'm kind of, yeah, if I had to go with anybody, I would say the Steelers. But my loyalty is more with the guys that I kind of work with. The most rewarding part about being a trainer is just actually seeing your clients achieve goals they once viewed as unattainable. And it's like a big part of it is not even just, it's not always physical. Like I've had clients who struggle with confidence. I've had clients who like had numerous surgeries or, you know, contemplated having surgery or just having certain mental issues. So it's not always the physical, like, hey, this client lost 10 pounds, but just seeing how they just become better people as a whole and just how many of my clients turn fitness into that lifestyle. And that's what I love to see is like where people like, hey, I'm not just trying to do this 6-week fat loss challenge. I'm trying to actually be in shape and enjoy and make the rest of my life the best of my life. So that's the most rewarding part. And the most frustrating part is that same thing. Like this isn't a hobby for me. Like I'm extremely passionate about it. Like I genuinely love what I do. And I'm always seeking innovative ways to help my clients get better. And sometimes it just gets frustrating when, you know, when you feel like you want it more than the client does at times, you know? So I think that's the most frustrating thing is just sometimes you have to be careful and guard your emotions and make sure you're not letting passion overrule you. The hardest part about writing a book is getting out of your own way, honestly. Like a lot of times you'll have those days and you're like, oh, nobody's gonna buy this, nobody's gonna read this, or this won't matter, or nobody will really care what I gotta say. And it's just really getting out of your own way and realizing that, no, you do have something to say. The world needs this. And, you know, my whole mantra while creating was like, if I change one person's life or one person can say that this helped them in any kind of way, then it was worth my time. Because I feel like that's what we all here for is to impact other people. Around 11th grade, I started getting some attention from colleges. And I used to always play Madden, and my creative player always had dreads. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grow my hair. So I had my godbrother's girlfriend at the time. She went and twisted my hair up and gave me little Cheeto puffs. And every 2 hours, I was in the mirror like, hey Nate, they growing? They growing yet? They getting longer? You know, and the most embarrassing thing was he was like, yeah, he got tired of me asking, like, yeah, they good. Man, I got to school and everybody cracked jokes on me, but man, I didn't make it through that whole school day. I was in class, like, I'm skipping class in the bathroom for a second, like, man, can I go to the bathroom? I'm trying to hurry up and take them out. I was the joke of the school that whole day. My go-to shoes, I like to keep it simple, all white Air Force Ones, you know what I'm saying? That's me. I joke around sometimes. Me and my friends, like when we link up, we always do like freestyle and rap battles, but they know like 40 got to go last. Because everybody gonna remember my part. You know what I'm saying? Like if you not good, you don't go last. You go first so people forget about it. So it's an unwritten law. Like if we freestyling, I got to go last. You know what? I think my biggest accomplishment is giving my grandmother something to brag about. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, my family, like all of us, man, we had our share of trials, tribulations, triumphs. And I think my biggest accomplishment is just, you know, when I do go down to South Florida, I go to my grandma's job or whatnot. And I just love how, just give her something to brag about. She's like, yeah, my grandbaby here, you know, he did this, that. And her coworkers be so fascinated, like, he did what? He wrote a book and he did this. So that's my biggest accomplishment, just making my grandmother proud every day. You got to always be learning because you're dealing with people's body every single day. And you can literally screw somebody up if you're not constantly learning and progressing and getting better at your craft. So I think that would be my advice, to like take it as serious as you would want a physical therapist or a doctor or a scientist or anybody else to take their job. It would have to be Tupac. It would have to be Tupac because Tupac, I listened to quite a few of his interviews on YouTube, and that dude just so far above his time. And I just would love to just I wouldn't even say much. I would just want to just sit there with a notepad and just take notes because he's just so impactful and just so authentic. He's genuinely himself, but the way he thinks and his intellect, it's like, think about it. There's a lot of things that Pac spoke about 20 and 30 years ago that are still happening now. So it's like, I would love to like sit down and speak with him and just see what does he think the future looks like. And like, how does he think the way that he thinks? It's definitely made me take a step back and embrace gratitude to a much larger level than previously before. I always found it important, but now it's like, wow, like I have a job. Wow, like I still can make ends meet. Like, you know, because there's a lot of people who can't right now. And it just makes you really not take things for granted. AM, weights, lower body, sprint, podcast, PlayStation, solo, post-workout, protein shake, Christmas, dishes, summer, YouTube, beach, lunges. Oh, that's a good one. You know what? I got it. Major 9 places you'll go. There it is. All the places you will go
if you put away your fears. Turn up on my dreams like they too low. Used to ride the city bus, but now we in them two-doors. Do it for the people that doubt me and still do. I'm a legend in my city. Hold up, let me show you proof.